Hey everybody, welcome to Get to Know Your Wedding Pro. My name is Reed with Best Made Videos. We are a wedding videography company based out of West Seattle, Washington. And I'm joined today by Mike Tabolsky, who is a photographer at Mike Tabolsky Photography, was just correcting my pronunciation of it. And I was thinking about this before you came on, how long it's been since I've been asking you to come on this podcast. I think you had to be one of the first, I think we did the wedding show together, and I thought, man, this Mike guy is so nice and fun to talk to. And I said, well, I'm going to go launch this podcast. I'm going to go ask my good friend Mike. And you said, yeah, my wife's going to give birth. We got to have kids.
We had a lot of things going on back then.
And so, but we've hounded, and I'm so glad you're here and your family and everything as well. So why don't you introduce yourself, tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, man, thanks. Yeah, I'm excited to be on the show, and I know it's been a long time coming, but I'm excited to chat with you and talk about some stuff. Mike Tabolsky, Mike Tabolsky Photography, www.thephotobar.com, based out of Maple Valley, Washington, and professional wedding photographer / portrait / senior pictures. I do it all. And
Well, and one thing too, and I think to not short sell, I think even like your corporate stuff too, I think is like super, super like high. We did the car thing last year, and I remember kind of looking through some of your corporate stuff, kind of getting ready for that too. And that's just a whole nother world that you kind of play in too, which I think is different than a lot of the photographers around here.
Yeah, so I'm originally based from Los Angeles. That's where I was born and raised, and I started photography professionally about 10 years ago, but I've been shooting for about 26 years. But I got into a lot of the corporate and special events, working with PR companies and publicists, and getting into like some high-end celebrity geared events, and got me real comfortable with working with very how can I put it? Strong-minded people, and it's been an experience, but it's actually helped me throughout the years. And now I'm focusing most of my time with weddings and stuff. But I still do corporate, and I love doing it. Microsoft, Amazon. I work for a couple of nonprofit companies, charity stuff. No Kids Hungry campaign. I do muscular dystrophy events, and also some pharmaceutical companies I shoot for in Jersey every year, and in the West Coast in Southern California. So it's been great, and I've been very fortunate enough to do that stuff.
Well, I think it's cool. Especially, I just had a corporate thing yesterday, and we're mostly in like wedding season right now. And I do think when you swap back and forth like that, like the stuff that you need, because like wedding stuff's like always on the fly. even though it's planned, but we're always trying to like figure out, okay, how can we get this light to work, or how can we get this venue to work? And like, then when you go do like that car event we did, and like everything's like meticulously like, the tape with the car to the wheel to get everything. But then you're able to, I think, like where you're kind of jerry-rigging it for a lot of the time with weddings, you're working on that creative juices. And then when you get to go do something like that, I just think it's nice to kind of like take those skills then and bring it back and forth.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I sort of got involved into more weddings now, because I love using my creative background. Back actually in LA, besides doing corporate stuff, I was also doing editorial stuff. I loved using strobe lights. I love setting up shots for like our local magazines in LA. Nothing big, but just our local magazines, and getting really creative. Doing events, like these corporate events, you can't really do that. And I couldn't really apply my skills to that. So with these weddings now, I can really get into it. And from what I studied back in college and stuff, doing photojournalism and some magazine work, it really helps me now because I can use my creative knowledge, and with posing and the composition stuff gets more important in weddings versus events.
Well, absolutely. I just one last note, and then we'll move on. But I remember it was like they needed a shot like of all of them in front of one of the cars or something, and it was just like you're like stand there, whatever. But they thought it was like the most amazing thing. And you're like, man, like wedding stuff, you're trying to pose, 500 different poses over 8 hours and get all this stuff, and like you just needed to get 4 guys standing there looking in one direction, and they were like so thrilled about it. It was just funny.
Yeah, it is pretty cool to see. Like people just love getting their their pictures taken. I do a lot of these events where they're just like super excited. And, it's so funny. I shoot these pharmaceutical convention stuff. Everyone's so super nice and stuff, but they love getting their pictures taken. And it helps me a lot when they do that. And it just makes my job easier. But it is kind of funny where there is a difference between shooting weddings versus shooting these corporate events. But it's a nice little, like you said, it's like taking a break. I could do my, my really serious getting into like posing and composition, and then I do events and it's super simple and just do it. And, but it's nice to have that break, here and there.
So talk to me about, getting into photography. Was this something that you always wanted to do? Were you always, interested in it from a young age?
I guess growing up in the film industry family, my dad was, he was a road manager for a lot of big musicians back in the day in the 70s and stuff. Elton John, Henry Mancini, Johnny Mathis and stuff. So I always had like family involved in that. My brother's been at Disney for about 30 years as a film editor. So in my family has always been movies and music and television. And so, my dad gave me a camera in 1993 when I was a senior in high school, and I started photography for the yearbook. And I just fell in love, like running around the school and taking pictures of people and posing people and just getting into the behind the scenes stuff with building layouts and all this. And I got really into it. So then in college, I went to a community college in Los Angeles, and I did the photojournalism, and I worked for the paper there doing photography and getting assignments and going to sport games and theater events and shooting them. And then I started doing editorial pictures for like the local teachers that are having a story on. And that was 93, 94, 95. And then, I got out of college and I, started to kind of take a break in bartending and stuff. And which is where the photo bar came to permission. And so photography has always been on my mind, but I can never really pull the trigger to do it full time. It was really tough when I was young. And then I would say a little over 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I really decided just to kind of like start doing it more and more and doing events back in LA. And it wasn't until when we moved here to Washington 5 years ago that I had the opportunity to do it full time. And so here we are, full time, doing it every day.
So, yeah, I mean, and obviously the difference between LA and here, I mean, LA is like, crazy and there's just always stuff going on. I mean, was it easy to kind of find events to do and whatnot?
It was different because LA is mostly the entertainment side of it, versus here it's more corporate. So I can find jobs here doing like more corporate events versus doing a celebrity geared PR event for an opening, for their show or for a restaurant they're opening. I mean, I could do that here, I guess, but it's just more geared for corporate stuff here. But I wasn't getting a lot of that in the very beginning. So I really wasn't doing weddings full time when we moved up here. I only had a couple weddings back in LA. I felt doing weddings was a little easier to transition to, and then just quickly learning all the different little things that go into becoming a wedding photographer. I had to learn pretty quick, but my knowledge of doing events and dealing with people and the different personalities really helped with crossing over to weddings. And it took me a minute, but that's all I think about is weddings and all the little things that go into it. It comes more second nature now too, which I was a little surprised, but I think just having the experience of working in the entertainment world helped a lot with that.
Yeah. So what brought you guys up to Seattle?
We literally, put up a dartboard, sat back, threw it, and it nailed on Seattle. It felt like that. We just wanted to get out of LA. I was born there. My wife was born in Jersey, but she's been in LA since she was like 7 or so. And so it was just one of those decisions, like, our family, my family is mostly there. Her mom and sister and stuff. Her mom moved here with us a few months later, and her sister lives in Colorado. So there was really nothing. A lot of her family was away, and it was tough to leave my family. But we just wanted to change. LA is really fast and just very. I felt we were claustrophobic there, and just coming here was just the right decision. It's so beautiful up here. The people are super nice. They're more laid back. And we're just having a great time just meeting new people and stuff and seeing new things here. And it's been great. So it was just, cost of living actually is cheaper up here. Well, was cheaper up here back in 2014. Now I know it's up there. But we're very fortunate enough to come here at the right time. So.
Yeah, what was it like? I mean, obviously, Seattle's still a big, city, a lot of, photographers, big community, but I mean, obviously nowhere nearly as big as LA. But what was it like, you come up here and then, trying to establish, make a brand, obviously like we met at the wedding show and that you're involved in that and a lot of other things. So what was it like kind of, like you said, just diving like head on into this now where it's all you think about?
So I really had to do that. It wasn't like something where I could have just sat back and just kind of let things happen. I had to really get my hands wet and just get in there and start, marketing myself, creating these ads and stuff and doing Facebook ads and meeting and networking with people. I did a few groups and a few like networking groups, and I met with some of the vendors and venues and coordinators, and they helped me kind of get odd jobs here and there. And then a few wedding coordinators here have helped me get a couple weddings under my belt in the very beginning. But doing the wedding shows and just networking a lot in the very beginning was really something that I knew I had to do after talking to a couple people up here. So that's what I did. And that really helped me transition to get more clients, build a really good network of friends who are in the industry here, such as yourself, some video guys and other photographers and DJs and whatnot. And it's been great. So we all kind of help each other out up here. And it's a really cool circle, very, very different from LA, where LA is so spread out. And I feel like in the Western Washington side, it just feels much more tighter and more friendlier to kind of like network. People are more willing to help.
What was it like, kind of like you said, deciding to go full time, launching, the photo bar, really putting yourself out there, as Mike, the wedding photographer, what was it like kind of like establishing all of that? Was it scary? Was it, a long time coming?
I think the big scary thing is moving up here with only one job. Like my wife had the job. She got the job coming up here and I didn't have any job. We both worked full time in LA. I worked for the studios. I worked for I was a post-production manager for 12, 13 years, working for Disney, working for Fox, and then doing photography on the side. So having that full-time job and that income coming in, and then moving here and just making the decision to, try to find work up here, that was a really big leap. And then deciding to go full-time and just putting everything into, me, was scary. And especially too, we wanted to start a family. And when we moved up here, we didn't have that yet. It was just us two. And so we just bought a house too, coming up here. So it was one of those things where it's like, whoa, we're doing a lot. We're moving here, knowing nobody really. We had a couple friends up here and just taking the risk. And I think it's important that people do that sometimes in their lives. This is take risks and stuff, because you never know. And so that's where we are. And it's been great.
No, it's crazy. And then, like you said, it's kind of things like that where you really just have to like lean into the curve, where it's like, well, we've already got this, we're, like you said, we're moving and we got to buy the house. And like, what do? Do you sit there and do you try to find a job and start over, or do you invest in yourself? I mean, obviously like you ended up making the right call, but it had to be like, really nerve wracking and challenging, right?
It was super challenging. It was super scary because I also didn't know what I was doing. I didn't do wedding shows. I didn't do the marketing side of anything. I'm still learning all the SEO stuff and all that. I'm still figuring it all out. What should I put my money into? Should I focus on wedding shows? Should I focus more on advertising? I have no idea. I still don't know. But that was a huge thing I had to learn and still learning. And it was just nervous because we just, living off a paycheck to paycheck, it's scary. And many people do it. I mean, I was look at actors, for instance, actors who aren't really big names. They work at restaurants because they can't afford, to live on an actor's salary when they're just trying out and starting out and trying to get their business going or trying to get their brand going. They work at restaurants, they wait tables. It's kind of like what I was doing. I was just trying to figure out, I was waiting tables for most of my life while I was doing photography as well. And I just kept knowing that photography was always there. And I trusted myself that when I decided to make that decision, it would be the right decision. And it just felt the right time. And my wife trusted me. And it was just, it just felt really good. And it makes me feel really good that what I'm doing, I know it's the right thing. And whatever happens, whatever obstacle leads in front of us, given, a kid's medical bill to, your mortgage or whatever, you just do it and you just figure it out. You just work. That's just how it is. You can't just sit down. So everything's a trust and leap, and hopefully you land on your feet.
What was, for someone, like you said, learning and struggling through a lot, starting out, what would be, your advice, not even necessarily for photographers, but, small business people in general that, are motivated to do something and don't know, or, starting out, what would be kind of some advice you would have?
I'd say the biggest thing is to trust yourself and know your strengths, know your weaknesses. And I'm always for getting help. I think in the end, having help and getting support is a good thing. And just, build your team, in other words, and even that team doesn't have to be directly working with you, but can just be a support. And trust yourself in what you're doing. Like if you want to be a painter, just start painting. Go to an arts and crafts store, buy some canvases, buy some stuff, and start painting and see what you can do. Or if it's photography you want to get into, buy cameras nowadays are so, everybody wants to be a wedding photographer now because they can shoot on their iPhone. But buy a camera, spend a couple $100, get a used camera, and just take pictures. Get out and do it, and you'll see if you want to do it or not. If you don't do it, then you're never going to know. But once you figure out like, hey, I really like doing this, then you can start looking into, how to start a business where you're reading up on stuff online, watching YouTube videos. I mean, I did all that. And just network with people, find people in the industry that have gone there, and maybe find there's a local Tuesday with coffee with friends. I forgot what it's called, but it's a group of photographers and vendors that like to meet up every Tuesday, and they have coffee and they talk about their jobs, and find groups like that are interested in the same field, and that will help you guide you or help you mentor you. It's tough. Starting a business is super hard because there's the other side of it too, is the business aspect, the IRS, the taxes, the sales tax, and what you can charge, and then there's insurance. There's all these little things that add in that you really can't just know. You just have to just do your research on. That's what I did. But you have to do it. You have to sit down, and start reading. That's honestly that's the easiest way to do it, is just to read on it,
Yeah, I remember back starting, Googling, Washington state tax codes, or trying to figure out, what do I, it is because you don't know what you don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're always throwing for loops when you hear people like, oh, I have to charge that. Yeah, but he doesn't live in Washington. He lives in Texas. I mean, wait, so if I go to Texas, do I charge? Oh my God. It's the craziest thing ever. Wait, but I'm not delivering a USB drive to them. I'm only giving them a digital version of the pictures, but I'm not giving them a physical media. It's all these crazy rules.
No, and like you said, just doing it too. I mean, I see that too with, people starting out, and they're like, people trying to find work, but then they're not when I was starting, I was doing everything, trying to find, no wasted, still no wasted, movement today, but, trying to figure out any way to do something. And you see these people working for work, but they're not doing anything. I'm trying to figure out well, what are you doing with your time?
Right.
If I had, if I had the time to sit there and figure it out, I don't know. It's hard, and thinking of like, having to flash back and figuring out to do it again is kind of a scary thought just in of itself.
It is. It's totally scary going back, going, wow, I did all that research on that, and but it is what it is, and it's rewarding. If you do all the legwork, and in the end, you're doing it full time, and you're meeting clients, and you're doing coffee dates with these people, and then you're becoming friends with them, and you're knowing their families. It's all worth it in the end. You just have to just do all the work in the beginning. And that goes for everything. That's just life. You can't just sit there and play video games and on the couch and drink beers and think your life is going to be set, because it ain't going to happen like that. Because I thought that back in the day when I was in my 20s, man. I was playing PlayStation and all that stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is college stuff, and I don't have to go to college. I only went to community college for 3 years, and I just did photography. And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be awesome. I'm just going to bartend and take pictures all my life. No, there's a lot more to it than just that. So, yeah.
No, I remember because I got the Xbox One had come out, I think, the Christmas before I kind of decided to start Best Made Videos. And I will tell you, the last day that was ever turned on was the day that I decided to start Best Made Videos, because I thought, man, if Dorothy comes home and sees me kicking it, playing Call of Duty all day and wondering, what the hell has he been doing while I've been at work? I was like, I don't know. Not to say that it's not okay to have hobbies and free time, but starting out, I was like, God, if Dorothy comes home and I'm just sitting here, it's like, what have you accomplished today?
Yeah, you're sleeping on the couch tonight. Yeah, it's the same with me. My wife, when she goes to bed at night, she goes to bed early because she's an educator, so she's got to be up early, and the kids are up early. We have 2 kids, and they're super young, and so at night I sometimes like to play here and there, but I literally haven't been playing for a long time because my mind has been focusing on like just creating ads. Literally for about 2 months now, I've been trying to create ads and stuff for my business, and I know after the summer it kind of slows down a little bit. But right now I'm super busy right now with weddings, and I'm editing like crazy. So it's just, I'm behind on shows that I watch and all this stuff, which is, you have to do it though. You have to just, it's your business and it's your family. So it's important.
Yeah, and like you said, especially when it's yours too. That's the difference too. It's kind of that, just having that ownership of it, and knowing that if you spend the time now making all that stuff, then you will personally see like the positive results from that later on. Yeah,
you're not working for a corporate entity where that's what I was doing before, and I kept working for the man. They say, and so it's like I felt like I wasn't getting satisfied. I wasn't rewarded. It was a nice paycheck, but there was something missing. So it feels good to be able to do my own thing, and especially with kids, being able to stay home with the kids and not have to do daycare and all that, which is awesome. So I'm very fortunate that I have a job like I do, doing photography.
Yeah, talk a little bit about kind of your family clan. I know I see, all these awesome photos on, people playing on the swing set and stuff. And
Too many photos.
No, I love it. So tell me about kind of what you have going on at home when you're obviously not doing all the other stuff you're doing.
Yeah, so I have a 15-month-old who all he does is just scoot around the house on his tushy. Scoot. He hasn't crawled, hasn't walked yet. He just said the words thank you and thanks yesterday, which is really cute. Then I have a 2.5-year-old. He's almost 3. He'll be 3 in September. And man, that's JJ. The youngest is Andrew. But JJ, man, he's a handful. He's 2.5, and he's definitely 2.5. He's curious. But yeah, being a stay-at-home dad with them it's been awesome. It's been crazy, tough, and juggling job and doing the business and having to be a stay-at-home parent is really, really tough. But it has its rewards as well. But it's definitely, you have to be on it every single day. There's no off switch, except when it's about 7:30 at night when they go to bed, and it's just you're on the couch. But that's about it, though. They're pretty much all day long. It's just kids, and diapers, and poop and pee all day long.
But you guys are down Maple Valley, right? You got lots of room to run around and for the kids to play and stuff.
Yeah, we got a house here in Maple Valley and backyard, a lot of play stuff in the backyard. We have some local neighbors who are awesome. We play with them. The JJ, the oldest, loves water balloons, so we do water balloons in the front yard. We're very fortunate, and it's just one of those things where it's like when you're younger growing up and you wish what your family would be like. I definitely have that, and my wife's amazing, and she keeps me in check all the time. I wish she knew how to take pictures, because she would be awesome with taking pictures and then doing all like the clerical writing stuff for blogs and stuff like that, because I can't write worth shit. So she's awesome like that. And I'm very fortunate, and it's been amazing.
Where did you guys meet? I know in LA, but how'd you guys, how'd you get together?
Well, technically we met online. We met online. OkCupid was the website. So cheesy. But it wasn't like Match.com or like, the other sites. eHarmony. Yeah. We started chatting in 2010. Our first date was technically, July 2nd, 2011. And we haven't separated since. We got married. We got engaged the next summer, 2012. We got married in 2013, and we moved to Washington in 2014 and had JJ in 2016. And then we had our second in 2018.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And then started a business, and Alyssa, my wife, was an elementary school counselor. Sorry, Alyssa was a middle school counselor for 10 years in LA. And when she got the job up here, she moved into elementary. So it's been a big change for her as well. New staff, new friends. It's tough. It's tough with the whole friend aspect too. I really don't have a network of friends up here. It's the people who I've been meeting at these shows and you and stuff like that, who I'm really hoping to build more relationships with. Because that's really all I have right now. When you have your day job and you go to work, you become, you have your work friends and you hang out and you go out for drinks, you go to movies. I don't have that. So I miss that from what I had in LA. So that's the hard part too. On top of just coming here and just not knowing anybody, it's really just not having consistent friends that you see every day. It's totally different from my world that I was in. So, I'm trying to do that right now. Actually, just real quick, I started a local Facebook community page called Stay at Home Dads of Maple Valley, and I started in the beginning, and we met up a couple of times. We just bring our kids to like a coffee shop or to a McDonald's. But the kids were super young. JJ was really young when I started, so it was really hard because the other dads had like older kids. But now I want to start getting back into it. Like the kids are a little bit older. JJ can run around now, so I'm going to start getting back into the group and start creating a time to go hang out, because I gotta get out there again.
No, I totally know what you mean, that people don't especially like when I was in news, you got like I have my station and the photographers there, and you see people every day. And, even if you're friends with some, you're not with others, but it's still like people to talk to every day and people to tell you what to do or what not to do. And then, when you're at home and it's like, you lose that whole slice of everything. I mean, it's really, I think it's an underreported, part of kind of the self-employment, stay at home work lifestyle, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it totally is. And when I'm home, I'm literally talking to a 2-year-old all day long. So when I go to a wedding, I feel sorry for the guy I'm talking to, because I'm literally, because all I do is talk to a 2-year-old. It's poopy this, poopy that. Don't touch this. Don't hit your brother. But I go to a wedding, it's like, I could talk to humans. I could talk to adults. So it's nice. So my life, when I go to a wedding, I love it, because I can just be an adult and just talk to people. So
No, I remember I can't remember who it was, one of Dorothy's, one of her friends' husbands, and we met, and I was like, I said, I didn't really know. I said, he wasn't really chatty. I didn't really get a good vibe. And she said, well, did you really talk to him? And I was like, it's literally like what I do for a living is go like bullshit with people at weddings for, 10 hours in a row like that. I mean, if I can't get a couple words out of him, it's probably, the wrong is on the other side here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
It's like that meme or whatever they say, like, if you see somebody talking to themselves, a business owner, they're just having a staff meeting, if they're walking around talking to themselves.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So what, when you guys got married down in LA?
We did, just outside, like Ventura County.
And so how did that go? As someone that, like you said, you were like super into weddings, but obviously you had done events and stuff. And I mean, was it a stressful process to do all that?
Really, it wasn't too bad. Obviously Alyssa did a lot of the legwork. She had a lot of her network was down there. So she was kind of easier for her to get suggestions. And finding a venue, we just kind of looked around. We wanted outdoors. We wanted everything to be outside. And being in LA and the weather, we knew, it would be pretty safe to assume that it's not going to rain. And we had it in July 20th. And it was perfect. It was this outdoor venue. It was a botanical gardens. And, Alyssa tasked me with finding a photographer, finding a DJ. So the DJ I found from a local friend of mine, I shot their wedding, and it was like their DJ, but I believe they were also friends with them too. So we got a really good deal with that. And then I used a photography service that's based out of Chicago, that they hire a bunch of photographers all around the country. So we found them because I wasn't most of a photographer. I knew a couple photographers, but they were super expensive, like double the amount that I charge, and we just wasn't in our budget. So the place that we found was in our budget. They were great, and we were happy with the photos. But I definitely was, like looking at some of the photographers of what they were doing, and I was like, I was holding back. I wanted them. Are you sure you want to put us in that angle? But I was holding back. Alyssa's like, don't let them do their job. So, but it was kind of funny though. So, but no, the wedding was great. We had a ton of people, and looking at it, from the client side, venue was awesome. Food was amazing. Coordination was good. Everything was pretty good. So we were very lucky with that. Because I know we all run into some situations as a vendor now, but it's always fun though.
Yeah. Right.
Oh man.
I got a call. We had 2 weddings on Sunday, and Matt calls me. I had just gotten home from my wedding, and he said, so the bride had a medical emergency and passed out in the back. She had dehydration and collapsed, and they had to call the ambulance. So there's always always she was fine, but it was always was the
photographer there taking pictures of that?
Well, I did tell Matt, I said you need to at least get a shot of the ambulance just so we have it just for historical,
right.
not that we put it in, but just
so they have it if they wanted to have it.
I mean, it happened, I
mean, hey,
but,
you're a journalist, right, in some way?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So talk about kind of your style of photography, and obviously doing like the photojournalism, in college. I mean, do you feel like that really obviously translates to how you capture the day? How do you kind of approach weddings now? Yeah,
it's ironically, I'm not really into the journalistic aspect of it, like the documentary style. I'm more about just shooting like the candid moments and more of the fun and like bright and airy and just, I love when everything is sort of just simple and straight lines, and there's nothing too artistic. I mean, I get a little artistic, but I'm more about just like the simple aspect of photography. It's so hard to explain. I'm more about bright and airy. Like I love bright and airy, and it's the same thing for my clients and stuff. I love meeting people and sitting down with them and talking to them and getting familiar with them, and just most people I kind of relate to are people who are just outgoing people and fun and exciting, and And so I stay more on like the images that pop, colors, not as much the dark side of it. I don't even know what they call it that a lot of these photographers do, that are more of like the noir aspect. I love noir movies and I love Hitchcock and I love all that stuff. I don't relate that in my photography. I like images that pop more with colors. It's just usually how I see it.
What kinds of clients do you find that you attract and work with, and that you're attracted to work with?
Definitely people who are very outgoing and I've been very fortunate. Every single one of my clients have been awesome. It's been a great journey, and they've been super outgoing and super excited with the process, and just very happy. Very happy people. I can't explain. Like, I don't really nitpick at people. And so I've just been very fortunate with the personalities that I've been kind of experiencing. Easygoing people have been very consistent, which has made my job, because I'm very easygoing and very personal. I talk a lot, so it's finding that common bond. And obviously, everybody who's booked with me have felt the same way, so it's been great. So yeah.
Has it been exciting to, like you said, starting out and having a few weddings, moving up here now, just kind of building this history of work that you've done and clients and different venues you've seen, and just having this quality of work now? Is it exciting to have kind of just seen that grow here in Seattle over the last few years?
Well, it's been helping me a lot is so once I start shooting at all these places and meeting all these different coordinators, I constantly get asked, oh, do you know Callie Holcomb, who's a great wedding planner and stuff, and do you know this venue? Have you shot here before? And to answer all these questions, yes, has been very, very important, because people want to hire you if you shot there before, because the ins and outs. And even if I haven't even shot there before, I always check out the venue before. If it's relatively close, I don't have to drive 3-4 hours. I'll go there. I'll look at the venue, and I'll kind of get an idea of where to shoot different things, just so I'm not blinded when I go there. Or I'll show up, 40 minutes earlier than scheduled, look around. But it's been really helpful just shooting all around and getting familiar with cities and just meeting different vendors, and just working with them again and again. Because I get asked all the time, do you know a DJ? Do you know a videographer? Do you know a floral? Do you know all these different vendors, and working so much, shooting 20 weddings a year or so, has been able for me to learn all these places and people. So it's been exciting to finally, now I can just have conversations like, oh, I do know that person and I do know that venue. And it makes you, seem like you've been working a lot, and that you're getting hired a lot, and and you can help out the couple a lot by knowing the different recommendations.
Yeah, it's always funny to me. I mean, it just can't be undersold. Like you said, how important it is, like having that past experience where, like, if I can talk to a couple and send them a video from their venue, or especially now where I used to always ask, who is your photographer? And now, it used to be, I didn't know anybody. And now, most of the time, most of the time I know, either worked with them or at least had heard of them or talked to them or whatever, these photographers. I mean, it's so important to like you said, be able to give that confidence back to people that you do know the ins and outs, or you do know the personalities of the people, or you have worked with the planner before. Yep.
Totally agree.
What do you wish more people kind of asked in terms of wedding, looking at photographers, doing research? What do you wish more people asked or thought about or researched or, paid attention to?
I think what I usually walk into is really tough to see. A lot of the couples don't see the photography aspect of the venue. most of the time the venue has already been chosen. But if they haven't been chosen yet and they're bouncing back and forth, I kind of look at it as, well, is it super dark? If it's really dark, you have to look at it like it's going to be tricky for photographers to really get the image that they're hoping for. Like, these clients go, I really want these really cool, epic shots of these, amazing photos and stuff like that. But I'm like, well, your venue is going to be, this venue is going to be trickier to get versus this venue. So it's doing their research and looking at, I always suggest, if they haven't picked their venue, is go online, search that venue and add like photography to it. And then you'll see galleries of that venue that other photographers or other videographers have shot. And they're all online, and you can watch them and see them. And then you can see how other photographers have done that venue. And then that way they can go to the consult and say, hey, we're thinking about this venue. These are some of the images we saw there. Is this something that that your style is in, or can you shoot something like this? So, and it's really refreshing when I'm at these wedding shows and someone comes up to me and says, are you good with low light photography? Because that means that they know that their venue is dark in advance, and they know that they got to find a specific photographer who can handle that. And it's good that they ask those questions, because hiring a photographer sight unseen and just not knowing these things, and then they don't know that their photographer really specializes in bright venues. And so it's just nice knowing that that the couples can do a little research on that side of it. It's just knowing what type of photography is needed for their venue. And sometimes you don't always get that. And sometimes you do, which is great.
Yeah, no, I think I know what you mean, where especially like just knowing how this stuff will photograph or not. I mean, like, we've been to some venues lately where, it is more challenging. And like, we were just at the Edgewater on Saturday, and it is, it's a really yellow room and bright windows and the water outside, and it's really bright and it's mixed and it's hard. And I mean, it's challenging, for even with a photographer with flash or not. And especially like for us shooting the video, it's, you just need to be realistic about your goals and expectations. Marrying the balance of wanting to pick somewhere that maybe is important to you, or is convenient, or is cool, or has history there, and then also like what is actually possible at that venue. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's, and sometimes you don't have, couples just don't, really care too much about it, and they just trust that photographers can do it. And, and I do, I give them, reassurance, and I have trust in myself. And I always, there's never been a venue where I turn away. I'm not going to do that. And I can shoot pretty much anywhere. And especially with the cameras these days, they can handle pretty much a lot of stuff. But it's nice and refreshing when couples really do research on the different things they really want. What are important to them at a wedding, what type of images they want taken. I always ask them if they want, if there's a shot list, and we work on a timelines before. Just people who are really involved in their wedding really helps with the process. So if I can, if I can say and suggest something to couples out there, is definitely just do some research on the different things you really want at the wedding, and it's your day, so you should make it the way you want it, and write it all down. And when you meet the different vendors and stuff, meet with your video people, your photographers, your catering people, just know what you want and ask questions. That's what I say.
What's your goals now, the next few years down the line? I mean, obviously tremendous change and growth in the last 5 years, and starting the family and relocating and all that. Where are you trying to improve? Where are you trying to expand? Where do you want to, get better?
Definitely, I would love to, I have a family, so I want to make more money. The object is basically to support your family as much as possible, so you're not stressing out every month. But to shoot more weddings a year would be great. Just better myself with doing blogs, getting my work more out there for the world to see more. Right now, it's really tough with the kids and with sitting down at the computer for a long period of time and really trying to design, ads and stuff like that. And just so in the next year or so, I really want to apply myself with getting my name and my brand out there more and shooting more and meeting more people in the industry. And so, doing more networking. I just feel like it's super important to network with the people in your industry, because I'm always there to help people out as much as possible, because I feel like, we all should be able to do that, and we could take advantage from that we can all help each other out and help each other grow in the industry. There doesn't have to be competition, because every style is different and everybody, yeah. So I don't know. I just want to grow more as a brand and do more stuff online and just network with people in our industry more.
It's good. Before I let you go, what do you wish more people knew about you? It could be how you like to work. It could be something you do for fun. What do you wish more people knew about you personally?
Oh man. I guess I wish people would know more about my personality and how outgoing and how fun I am. Cause it's hard when potential clients are looking at your website to really know who the person is behind the camera. And I feel like once you have a sit down with me and we talk about, the day that your wedding day and go over details, you'll see like, how fun and outgoing I am, and how I approach, shooting your wedding and stuff, and just knowing like what the type of person you're really going to get when you meet me. I don't know. I wish more people could just see, like, this video is great because I hope people watch it and because they'll kind of get an idea. Oh, that Mike's a really nice guy. He talks a lot, but he's a nice guy. So yeah, I don't know.
No, it's tough. They say that, if you're like, for clients looking at like photographers, like they'll look at like the first 3 or 4 images or whatever, and then they make a decision. Or like with video, they're watching 10 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever it is. And it's like online dating too, where it's like swipe. And like, there's people there behind that, right? That, behind your work or behind whoever's work, there's a person with a life and a family and, like you said, personality and you want to find, so it's so hard to balance, the work and then budgets and then just having people spend the time to get to know people. I mean, it's incredibly difficult.
Well, and that's why I think it's great doing these wedding shows, because that really gave me my platform to have conversations with people who normally probably wouldn't see me. We'd be chatting on email, and it's hard writing and talking to email and texting and all this stuff. So when you come and you chat with me for a few minutes or so, you kind of get an idea instantly. And even if it's really busy there and stuff like that, I always tell people, I send them, I don't do the bulk emails. I send everybody an email individually, and I say, hey, if you didn't have enough time to chat with me, I'd love to meet up with you afterwards. We can sit down and chat, and you can get to know me more, because I know how busy and hectic it was at the show. So I'm all for like communicating and talking to them. And I think doing the wedding shows are a great way for couples to really know their photographer or know their videographer or know their vendor. So I encourage everybody to go to these wedding shows, the Seattle Wedding Show, January. So it's a great way to really meet your person that you're going to hire.
Yeah, and people, they say, it's so tough nowadays with, wedding shows and, changing times, and there's different types of wedding shows and, tours now and big shows and small shows and that. But I still think, like you said, ultimately, however it is, you still need to like find people and talk to them face to face. And so whatever form that takes, whether it's at a convention hall or if it's at, like we did that brew fest, right. I don't know, whatever thing where it was like, come have beer and talk to wedding vendors. And I have all sorts of thoughts about that one. But, it's ultimately, though, you're trying to get people in front of people and find connections and find, a way to make it work.
Yep, totally.
Well, Mike, I know you are an incredibly busy guy, and I want to thank you so much for coming on and making the time, and between work and travel and kids and stuff. I really appreciate it. And, I tell everybody that does it this time of year, in wedding season, that takes the time, shows their dedication. And I really do appreciate you carving out some time to come on the podcast today.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot. I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad we were able to find a time. And anytime, I'd be down to do it again. This was fun.
If people want to learn more about you and your photography and your style and work and personality and everything, where would you have them go check out?
You can go to my website, thephotobar.com. You can go to my Instagram account, Mike Tabolsky Photography, and Facebook page, Mike Tabolsky Photography. And you can click on this link that's going to be posted soon to listen to this awesome podcast.
Perfect. Well, thank you again. If you are like Mike and you're a wedding vendor that's interested in coming on the podcast, you can go to www.bestmadevideos.com/podcast guests. That's a nice, easy questionnaire I have as a way set up to kind of get into the system. I didn't make Mike do that because I know Mike, but if you are a stranger or someone that's interested in coming on, that's a great way to start. And Mike, I just want to say thanks again. And this has been another episode of Get to Know Your Wedding Pro. Check back next week for another wedding vendor interview. Thanks so much.